Good morning, this is Sycamore Falls, the headwater of Sycamore Creek. They had some rain up here yesterday, so I was hoping we might actually see some water pouring over this 100-foot drop. But it's not to be. So, here we are in the dry Sycamore Falls to talk about some anime.
Future Boy Conan.
Future Boy Conan is a 1978 TV anime series. It's juvenile, post-apocalyptic science fiction and has no relationship to Robert E. Howard's barbarian character or any detective you may have heard of. It's notable for being esteemed director Hayao Miyazaki's debut as a TV series head director. According to the prologue, which we get at the start of every one of the 26 episodes, the world was destroyed when a war using new superweapons triggered earthquakes, typhoons, and the continents sank beneath the sea. The world pretty much ended. Conan is a boy now living on what he calls a remnant island. The kid is strong as an ox and swims like a fish. But he and his grandfather are now the last human survivors, or so they think. They spend their time doing guy things like fishing, swimming, and putting off home repair projects. Then a girl, Lana, washes up on the beach, and that's the end of the quiet life. She's the first female that Conan has ever met, so of course it's love at first sight when he offers her some fresh sushi. It turns out that Conan and Grandpa aren't the last humans. Lana is from High Harbor, a settlement of mostly peaceful farmers on an island. But she was kidnapped by some nasty folks from a place called Industria because her missing grandfather, Briac Rowe, knows the secret to a pre-war solar energy program, and he won't share that knowledge with Industria. He's afraid of what they'll do with it. Lana escaped her captors by jumping overboard. Well, can trouble be far behind? A woman from Industria, Monsley, and her squad of commandos come flying in, looking to take Lana back again. They have both guns and a seaplane. Conan's not going to give up his new girlfriend without a fight. This sets up a lengthy 26-episode story. Lana becomes a prisoner of Repka, the nasty head of Industria. A council of scientists think that they run the place, but Repka does whatever he wants behind their back, with Monsky and her soldiers to back him up. You know how distracted scientists are, they don't even notice they're not in charge. Industria is a bit like Fritz Lang's Metropolis, a tall triangular tower where the first-class citizens live up at the top, and the third-class slaves toil below ground. Repka has his own plans for reviving the old technology, and they aren't benevolent. Lana is the bait to lure Briac Rowe and his knowledge of the old technology for energy back to Industria. And of course, Conan chases after Lana. He soon runs into another survivor. It seems that once you look around this world, people come crawling out of the woodwork. Jimsy is a boy much like Conan, but with a big appetite and a fascination with frogs. The two hitch a ride to Industria on a cargo ship owned by Captain Dice. Dice is one of those guys who works for whoever paid him the most or pointed the biggest gun to his head last, and he switches allegiance a lot. In fact, it was his cargo ship that Lana jumped overboard from before washing ashore on Remnant Island. Conan is definitely a cartoon character. He's super strong, agile, fast, indestructible, and resourceful. He does 6 impossible things before breakfast. He's going to rescue Lana and take her back to High Harbor, where they'll all have a good time farming for a bit. High Harbor has its own local bad boy, Orlo, a greedy SOB. But one girl in Orlo's gangs of juvenile delinquents, Tara, catches Jimsy's eye, and more young love is in the air. The mysterious Dr. Rowe will eventually resurface as well. And then Industria comes to conquer High Harbor. The world moves to the brink of another disaster, and things get really complicated. Future Boy Conan is a bright children's adventure story with a wide new world to explore. It has a lot of action and a sense of humor, and it's never dull. There are amazing escapes, daring rescues, and quite a few cartoonish fights. Despite a lot of bullets flying around, Industria's troops have the aim of Imperial stormtroopers, which isn't to say no one gets killed, but it's rare. The series even makes time for some quiet moments when people meet new friends along their journey, or just settle down to living. Future Boy Conan was inspired by an American young adult book, The Incredible Tide, by Alexander Key, who's probably better known for writing Escape to Witch Mountain. The book is out of print. The anime adaptation keeps the post-apocalyptic setting and most of the main characters, or at least their names, but it takes a lot of liberties with the plot, gives Conan near superhuman abilities, and makes the bad guys a little more nasty. This was Miyazaki's first time as chief series director, and he's worked here with future Studio Ghibli collaborators Isao Takahata and Yoshifumi Kondo on this project. You can see some of their now classic art and character stylings. The original novel made Conan, Lana, and Jimsy teenagers, though they look a little younger than that to me in the anime. Future Boy Conan takes place in a world of vast oceans with a few small islands, using sailing ships and airplanes. It features a large cast of characters, friends, foes, and the uncertain or unreliable. It pits a peaceful agrarian society against an oppressive technological nation in a post-war era. All of these are ideas Miyazaki would return to in a few years with Nausicaa, Laputa, or Porco Rosso. Watching Conan, you can see how Miyazaki played with some of the mechanical design ideas he'd use again in later films, such as airplanes that are just one big giant wing, or levitating kettles. Plus knee-breaking catches of falling girls who like birds. After the TV series ended, there was a compilation movie using the same animation to condense the story into under 2 hours. That was pretty common practice back in the old days. It removed all the adventures in and around High Harbor, as well as travel back and forth in order to shorten the story. The compilation also had a different music soundtrack. I didn't find the shortened story nearly as much fun. Conan has never had a North American release, although it did have a Spanish version. Thanks for watching.
This was a Forest Service road along the route to the trailhead that led me to believe that there might actually be water flowing over the waterfall today.